Chameleon and Hunter's Fury. Why does this work? Right, not too long ago I put up this build. 4-piece Hunter's Fury, utilising the backpack, Exodus gloves, and then I'm using a chest, although I did actually say or recommend trying to farm the Unicorn for Palisade, which will give you a total of 40% armor on kill. Now, although this build is actually weirdly strong, but also weirdly weak, it's strong when you have the damage going. I don't want to call it immortal, because you're not, but you are immortal once every 40 seconds. Like, it's actually kind of impossible for you to die unless you stand there and take like 9 grenades to the face within like a 3-second period. Obviously there's caveats, but you are technically functionally immortal once every 40 seconds, which allows you to do some absolutely weird and wacky bizarre things and play around with. For a start, I was running around with this build for like near enough 3 hours yesterday, and I don't think I really took cover more than like 3 times, if at all. And the rest of it is me just running around in a circle. This comes through 3 separate mechanics. One, ideally you'd have 40% armor on kill. I'm running 30 because I don't have the Unicorn chest Palisade. So I'm running Chesco, which gives me 30% armor on kill, which is huge. When they do break my armor, and because I'm not taking cover, they will break my armor, Exodus Gloves activates, which forces me out of combat and gives me about 40% of my armor returned to me. And the third mechanic is a huge, and I mean huge, disorient range, which kind of feels like cheating. Now, I also said that this build kind of also sucks, and I gave the very obvious descriptive that when you have your damage up, the damage is pretty good. The reason for this is the damage bonus from Hunter's Fury is, one, you have to be in range. That range is 15 meters. If you're not within that range, you don't get the damage bonus. Chameleon has an optimal range of 20, which basically means you need to play very, very close. If you're not playing very close, your damage just vanishes into the ether. You're not going to see it. It doesn't work. It actually kind of reinforces Chameleon's biggest problem, which is the accuracy and range thing. More so the accuracy than the range. But if you're not going to be comfortable utilizing Chameleon up close and personal, then this is not going to be the build for you. The next problem is Chameleon still requires stacks, which means you need to hit your marks, get close, and actually put some effort in to build up your damage. The remainder of Hunter's Fury is an on-kill talent. At top end, Hunter's Fury offers a 53.15% amplifier, which is actually quite a lot. Most striker builds now are only rocking a 65% amp, and also utilizing things along the lines of Glass Cannon, Obliterate, Vigilance, Unstoppable Force, etc, etc. We're not going to be getting a damaging backpack talent. What we're getting is a huge disorient range. So it is going to be lacking on the overall forefront of the damage. However, this can be compensated slightly for the fact of just how the mechanic of Chameleon working, the talent, with the top buff giving us another 20% critical hit chance and 50% critical hit damage, the middle buff giving us another 90% weapon damage, and the bottom buff giving us 150% reload speed. All of this can compensate for the lack of backpack talent, but it's still nowhere near as powerful as a Chameleon build with a backpack talent. So it's not going to be the strongest thing ever. However, it is surprisingly survivable for the fact of, like I said, I have 30% armor on kill. We have a 40% repair to take us out of combat, as well as a mechanic that can also refresh Chameleon. And the disorient range on the backpack takes it from 5 meters to 10 meters, which is surprisingly a lot larger than what a lot of people seem to think. And although the disorient doesn't last for long, it is more than long enough for you to at least get one extra kill for that another 30 or 40% armor on kill. By the way, the extra 10% is coming from the fact that I'm running Gunner. So 20 from Hunter's Fury, 10 from Gunner, which is what I have. And then if you can get that Unicorn Palisade, which I would recommend, that's 40%, as that's another 10% armor on kill. Now, time for a slight confession, along with something that I found with Exodus gloves. See, when I was originally testing this build, I was going through legendary missions, and to be perfectly honest, combined with the amount of armor on kill and just the disorient, it was easy. It was actually kind of easy. The only problem I really had was the wallies, because you have to be within 15 meters to get your full damage. Being within 15 meters of a legendary wally is a problem, don't get me wrong, but normal ads were, no matter of their veterancy, whether they were red, purple or yellow, easy. Wasn't a problem. However, it was at this point when I discovered potentially a bug or just a nice little fuck you from the devs, and that is the Stinger Hive from Chungas. It doesn't give a crap about Exodus gloves. Honestly, I mean, I wish I'd kept the footage because I did record it, but sadly it's now Monday morning and I've cleaned up my hard drive and a few other things, and I've deleted basically a bunch of excess stuff that I didn't think I need, and I went back through to try and find the footage of the legendary missions that I was doing, and this idiot, this one right here, deleted it all. So essentially it looked the exact same as what you're looking at here, apart from it was Black Tusk in a white uniform, and then a Chunga would come along. He would either get disoriented, at which point his Stinger Hive didn't care and would still hit me. I would get enough armor on kill to survive and be able to kind of face tank him, swapping between breaking the chain and damaging him. But the moment my armor would disappear, the Stinger Hive would still go off in his backpack. It would still hit me, and because I don't have anything now left to kill, I don't get armor on kill, which basically meant I had to take the full brunt of a Stinger Hive from a legendary Chunga with nothing but my health bar. Yeah, the Stinger Hive doesn't care for Exodus gloves. I don't know why. I don't know if this is an intended mechanic or whether it's a bug. I kind of feel like the Stinger Hive, not lore-wise, but mechanically the way in which it's set within AI, is just hit anything and everything within X proximity regardless, which would kind of make sense as to why it doesn't work with Exodus gloves. But yeah, Stinger Hive plus Exodus gloves equals does nothing. So I wouldn't recommend running this build actually in a legendary unless you're, one, with a full team, two, actually know what you're doing to a very high degree, because I got bullied by one Chunga. There was nothing I could do against him because my buffs had run out. I didn't have the damage without all of the buffs on Chameleon and Hunter's Fury, and once Exodus gloves proc once, when that Stinger Hive hits you, because you're still being hit, it still classifies you as in combat, which overwrites Exodus gloves, which means you no longer actually get the heal in the first place. So yeah, that was fun to find out. And that then brings us full circle back to essentially the big problem with this build. And again, when you have your damage up, you do damage. Such a great descriptor. And yeah, my idiocy in saying that aside, with all of your buffs and stacks active, you'll do about 700 to 800k. You can get 900 to near enough a mil on headshots within range at maximum stack with both Hunter's Fury and Chameleon. This is not bad damage. This is pretty good damage, especially considering even strikers at maximum performance, you only get about 1.1 mil on body, and you can get that to about a 1.9 on head. However, when you don't have any of these buffs or stacks active, as you can probably see now, that's slightly building up. I'm getting kills. I'm in the 500 to 600k mark, but it starts around 340k, which for end game builds is pretty low. Yeah, it's not really that worthwhile at the lower end unless you're able to get and maintain your stacks as efficiently as possible. So there are issues with the build. It's more of a survivally casual build. I just found myself just wandering around in a circle, just killing everything. It works perfectly fine. It's just not going to be the best thing ever. And if anything, it really messes with my almost compulsion. The simple fact that I'm running Hunter's Fury and Chameleon is not an SMG. So there's that side of it as well. Anyway, that's just about all I've got. Hopefully you enjoy this build. If not, sucks to be you. Have fun. Good luck. Don't die. It's bad for the health.